Anna, Peter, welcome. Can I start, Peter, by asking you, if you were to emphasise one ask of the international community when it comes to supporting African-led climate action, what would it be?
The one ask I would say would be financing, because there's no question that there's a very big gap between what is needed and the financing that's available to really fund climate change. If you look at the amount that's being funded today is about $30 billion. We believe we need about 10 times that. The Western world promised an extra 100 million to fund climate. That has not been released, or at least most of it has not been released. And the third thing is that you see that most of the financing is not going to adaptation and resilience, which is the most important element for Africa. And only about, I think, a quarter of the financing is going through that. Today, for example, in Africa, we face huge issues. We've seen the drought that's facing the Horn of Africa, 20 million affected, a fourth failed rain season, and we are expecting the fifth to fail again. So that is the worst drought that has happened in 40 years, shows the impact of climate change. And although private sector and the government are doing a lot in terms of the emergency relief, what we need is more long-term element, which will require financing. That's why I believe financing is the single biggest element that Africa needs today.
Do you agree, Anna?
Yeah, I think it's certainly kind of at the core of it. And I would say, in addition to that, just like listen and learn. Like, I feel we are often in a position where members of the international community have an idea on how to tackle a significant challenge in an African country. But as well, like in conversation with you and your colleagues, it really is very clear that the solutions are there. There's so much experience on how to green the telecommunications sector, how to invest in renewable energies, and I think my ask to the international community would be listen, learn, and collaborate.
It seems the will is there, but how do you practically put that into action, the international community, when it comes to supporting and financing African-led climate action?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday at the opening of the COP27, the UN Secretary General called on a climate solidarity pact. So really a new pact between developing countries and wealthy nations to put exactly that into practice and to accelerate investments in renewable energies, accelerate the shift from fossil fuels to clean energies and technologies, and to really come together for this purpose. And I think it's really important, of course, to have these very high-level political signals, but then the action needs to be on the ground and needs the input and the contribution of private sector representatives.
How do you think it would work, Peter? Where do we go from here?
For me, I think we need to move from, as Anna is saying, we need to move from talk to action. And also we need to localize it. So we need to make it more relevant to the local situation, because the actual issues and solutions need to be local and locally relevant. But partnership and collaboration is the key. But if you ask me, it's move from talking to action, because without action, because we've committed many times in the past, but how do we move in unison and to focus on the solutions?
How is Safaricom working with global institutions on this?
So I know financing is the biggest opportunity for us, but there's no question that collaboration and partnership is the key, because there's no one party who can deal with these issues. So Safaricom, as a technology company, has a lot of assets, and we can co-create solutions with other organizations. So today we work with the Kenya Forest Association, but also the Community Forest Association, to really work on afforestation and then bringing back forests that have been degraded. So that's all about partnership. And the second thing is using technology to go for green. So we are working with a company that offers solar solutions through our M-Pesa platform. And then the second thing we've done is on the gas side, in terms of, instead of people using charcoal, we have M-Gas, which is owned by Circle Gas, which is a UK company, creating solutions on a pay-as-you-go gas solution that you pay for every cooking session, instead of using charcoal and other elements which are not green.
So it seems collaboration and communication, Anna, is the key?
Yeah, I think really coming together, making these partnerships work.
Yeah.
I believe yesterday was also announced a partnership between the governments of Kenya and UK to scale up solutions like this and investments, technology, and to bring us forward.
So for me, collaboration and co-creating is a key, but also we can use technology as a company that owns a lot of technologies, including M-Pesa. We can localize the solutions, we can make them more relevant to the local community so that it stops being conceptual, including elements such as carbon trading, being appealing to local people so that they feel it's not just about mitigation, but it's also about resilience and adaptation.
Anna, Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.